My friends, within every soul lies a secret code, a divine blueprint etched into the very fibers of our being. This is the hidden money code, a code that does not come from banks, from markets, or from governments. It comes from the infinite source of supply that governs all life. Money is not merely currency, it is energy. It is the current that flows from the unseen into the seen, from the invisible into the visible. And when you align your mind, your words, and your faith with divine law, this current flows into your life with grace, ease, and power. How do we unlock this hidden code? We begin with words. Words are not empty sounds. They are commands written upon the substance of the universe. When you declare, "I am wealthy, I am prosperous, money flows to me in perfect ways," you send out vibrations that call forth opportunities, open doors, and create channels of supply. But when you say, "I am broke, I never have enough, money is hard," you lock the gates of abundance with your own tongue. There is no mystery greater than this. You are the keeper of your own financial destiny. The key is substitution. Every time fear whispers, "What if I lose it all?" you replace it with faith. Divine supply never fails. My wealth is secure. Every time doubt says, "Money is hard to come by," you answer, "Money comes to me easily and freely, as I am in tune with the source of all prosperity." Desire is holy. It is the signal of your inheritance. The dream in your heart to live abundantly, to prosper, to be free of struggle is not greed. It is guidance. It is the universe saying, "This is already yours. Claim it." And here lies the greatest secret of the hidden code: non-resistance. Stop chasing money with fear. Stop clutching it with trembling hands. The more you grasp, the more it slips away. But the moment you release, the moment you trust, the moment you stand still in faith, money finds its way to you. Gratitude is the language that unlocks the vaults of heaven. When you give thanks for the little multiplies. When you give thanks in advance for the wealth that is already on its way, the universe rushes to deliver it to your door. Gratitude is the magnetic force that turns lack into plenty. Faith, not fear, must be your compass. Fear shrinks your world, faith expands it. Fear whispers of loss, faith declares gain. Faith opens invisible channels and leads money to you in ways you cannot even imagine. Expectancy is the shape of your future. What you expect with confidence, you call into being. Expect struggle, and you struggle. Expect wealth, and it flows. The law of expectancy is the unseen architect of your reality. And do not forget the law of giving. Money is a current, a river that must flow. When you give with joy, you open channels of blessing. When you withhold with fear, you block the stream. Give, and it is given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The hidden money code is not found in the world's systems. It is found in alignment with eternal law. Think abundance, speak abundance, expect abundance, act in abundance, and the code unlocks itself. Then you will see with your own eyes, money is not hard, money is not scarce, money is not against you. Money is your servant, money is your ally. Money is the energy of divine supply, waiting for your command. And when you speak in faith, with gratitude, with expectancy, you activate the hidden code, and wealth begins to chase you. So stand tall, speak boldly, live with faith, and declare the truth. I am a magnet for money. I am aligned with infinite supply. I unlock the hidden code, and abundance is mine, now and forever. Money is not merely what the world has made it to be, pieces of paper, coins of metal, numbers on a screen. Money is energy. It is spirit clothed in form, a visible expression of the invisible supply that streams from the source of all creation. The divine connection to money is often misunderstood because many believe money to be separate from the spiritual, a worldly pursuit detached from higher truths, but this is not so. Money is simply one of the ways the universe rewards faith, mirrors belief, and channels abundance into human experience. To understand this connection is to recognize that money is not earned by toil alone, not grasped by struggle or hoarded in fear. Instead, Money is drawn to those who live in harmony with divine law, to those who understand that the same power that governs the stars, the oceans, and the seasons governs the flow of wealth. When a person is aligned with that law, money becomes effortless, natural, and ever-increasing. There is a vibration in everything, and money too carries its own current. When a heart is filled with fear, when a mind is clouded by anxiety, that vibration repels the current of wealth. The universe hears the inner cry of lack and responds by sending more lack. But when the heart is centered in faith and gratitude, when the mind affirms prosperity and abundance as natural birthrights, the vibration changes. The current of money is drawn in as naturally as rivers flow to the sea. This is not superstition or fantasy, but divine order. As electricity flows when the switch is flipped, so money flows when the soul is attuned to abundance. Every individual is connected to an infinite supply. Think of a tree rooted deeply in the earth. It does not fear drought because its roots know where to find water. It does not panic over the future because it trusts the source beneath the soil. So it is with us. We are rooted in the divine, and money is one of the fruits of that connection. The tragedy is that so many uproot themselves with doubt, with words of poverty, with beliefs that life is hard and money scarce. They cut off their own supply by imagining separation from the source. But there is no separation. There is only alignment or misalignment. To understand the divine connection to money is to stop worshipping it and to stop fearing it. Money is not an idol, nor is it an enemy. It is a servant of spirit. It was never meant to control human lives, but to flow through them, to support noble desires, to build, to heal, to expand good in the world. When treated with reverence as an expression of infinite supply, it comes freely. When chased with desperation or held with fear, it slips away. The law is simple. What you fear, you attract. What you love with detachment, you invite. There are those who work day and night, pushing their bodies and minds beyond endurance, and yet they find little increase. They mistake effort for source. They believe money is created only by human strength, and so they labor endlessly but receive little in return. Meanwhile, another person speaks with faith, acts with confidence, moves in harmony with divine law, and finds doors opening, opportunities appearing, money coming in unexpected ways. It is not that one works harder than the other, but that one works with alignment and the other against it. The world calls this luck, but it is law. Money is not given to effort alone. It is drawn to faith, to expectancy, to the consciousness that knows its divine origin. Consider the lilies of the field, how they toil not, neither do they spin, yet they are clothed in beauty beyond kings. The lesson is not that humans should do nothing, but that anxiety and strain are not the source of provision. Just as the lilies draw their nourishment from the earth without fear, so too can money flow to those who rest in divine order. When you are aligned, you act not out of panic, but out of inspiration. The right ideas come, the right people appear, the right doors open. Action taken in faith multiplies, action taken in fear scatters. When a person realizes money is divine energy clothed in form, they stop begging for it and start commanding it. They stop seeing it as outside of themselves and recognize it as already within their reach, waiting only for permission to flow. You are not poor because the world is poor. You are not lacking because supply has run dry. You are poor only if you declare it, only if you believe it, only if you speak it into existence. But the moment you shift your consciousness, the moment you declare abundance, the moment you trust the law of supply, money begins its return. Many believe it is selfish to desire money, as though the pursuit of abundance were somehow opposed to spiritual growth. But this is a misunderstanding. Desire is not evil, it is divine guidance. The desire for money to live well, to bless others, to fulfill one's purpose is not greed. It is the signal of your inheritance. It is the universe telling you, This is yours to claim. The key is not to chase money for its own sake, but to see it as a tool, as a channel through which good flows. When the intention is pure, when money is sought not out of fear but out of faith, the supply is endless. Money is energy, and energy must flow. If you block it with stinginess, with fear of spending, with mistrust, the flow weakens. But if you allow it to move freely, giving where led, investing with wisdom, trusting its return, then money circulates and multiplies. Just as blood must flow through the body for health, so money must flow through life for prosperity. It was never meant to stagnate. Those who hoard from fear end up losing. Those who give from faith end up gaining. The divine connection to money is unbreakable, for it is built into the very fabric of creation. The hidden supply is all around you, waiting for you to claim it. You do not beg the sun to shine. It shines because it is its nature. You do not beg the ocean to wave. It moves because it is its law. So too with money. You do not need to beg for it. You need only to align with the source, to speak with faith, to expect with confidence, to give with joy. The supply is infinite, and the code to unlock it lies not in the world, but in your own mind and spirit. When you remember that money is divine, when you release fear, when you declare abundance, when you align your words and actions with truth, then the flow begins. Suddenly, ideas arrive that you never thought of before. People come into your path at just the right moment. Opportunities that seemed impossible open with ease. This is not coincidence. It is law. You have tapped into the current, and money answers the call. You were never meant to live in lack. Poverty is not divine order. It is the result of misalignment. The code of abundance has always been yours, written into your being since the beginning of time. The moment you claim it, the moment you affirm it, the moment you believe it, money flows in perfect ways. It does not matter what the economy says, what the banks declare, or what the world insists. Your source is higher, greater, infinite. Align with it, trust it, and you will see the truth. Money is divine energy, and it is always waiting to flow through you. Words and thoughts are not fleeting things that vanish into the air once spoken or conceived. They are forces, living vibrations, shaping the unseen substance of life into form. Every word you speak is a command. Every thought you hold is a mold, and the universe takes these molds, these commands, and gives them back to you in kind. If you speak lack, you will live lack. If you think struggle, you will meet struggle. But if you speak abundance, if you think prosperity, if you affirm joy, health, and wealth, then the universe has no choice but to return these very things to you. This is the unchanging law. As a person thinketh in their heart, so shall they be. The power of words and thoughts is often underestimated. People toss careless words into the air without realizing that they are sowing seeds. They complain, they murmur, they declare, I can't afford this, or money is always short, or nothing ever works for me. And then they are surprised when their lives reflect these very statements. But how could it be otherwise? Words are not empty. They are creative. They are energy clothed in sound. When repeated with belief and emotion, they are etched into the fabric of reality, and life mirrors them back faithfully. Consider how the smallest word can uplift or destroy. A kind word spoken at the right moment can heal a broken heart. A harsh word can wound for a lifetime. If words have this power over the soul, how much more power do they have over the material world? Every word is a decree, and the world is your obedient servant. The question is not whether your words have power. The question is, what kind of power are you releasing daily? The same is true of thoughts. Thoughts are silent words, whispers of the soul that echo into the unseen. They too are forces, constantly creating, constantly attracting. A mind filled with worry is a magnet for trouble. A mind filled with faith is a magnet for miracles. The universe does not distinguish between what you fear and what you desire. It simply responds to the energy of your focus. If you dwell upon bills, debt, and insufficiency, you summon more of the same. If you dwell upon abundance, gratitude, and wealth, you call forth opportunities, connections, and prosperity. There is no escaping this law. What you continually think about, you bring about. The mind is the workshop where the future is built. If you want a better tomorrow, you must guard your thoughts today. If you want abundance, you must speak abundance into existence. If you want money to flow, you must think in harmony with the flow of money. Every affirmation is a key, every declaration is a code. You are either locking doors with words of fear or opening gates with words of faith. Imagine a person who wakes each morning and declares, "I never have enough money, life is unfair, and things are only getting worse." What future are they building? What vibration are they sending out? The universe listens and responds as you wish, and the cycle continues. Now imagine another person who wakes with gratitude and declares, "Today money flows to me in perfect ways. Today I prosper. Today I live in abundance." This person may not yet see the physical manifestation, but the energy has shifted. Channels begin to open, ideas flow, people appear. The current of life begins to align with their words. The declaration plants the seed, and the harvest will surely come. Words are spiritual law in motion. They are not just sound, they are substance. The ancient wisdom declares, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Creation itself was spoken into existence. If words carry the power to form worlds, they certainly carry the power to form circumstances. When you speak, you echo the voice of creation itself. You set into motion forces beyond the human eye. Never again dismiss words as harmless chatter. Every syllable builds or destroys. Every phrase opens or closes the door to prosperity. Thoughts, too, must be guarded with the same vigilance. The mind is a fertile garden. If you do not sow it with faith, it will be overrun with weeds of fear. If you do not plant abundance, lack will take root. The gardener of the mind must be watchful, for stray seeds fall easily. Doubt from a neighbor's complaint, fear from a headline, envy from comparing oneself to another. If left unchecked, these seeds grow quickly. But with vigilance, with conscious affirmations, with steady faith, you pull out the weeds and plant only what you wish to reap. The power of words and thoughts is not limited to money, but it certainly governs money. Many people block their financial flow with careless speech. They say, "I can't afford it." They say, "Money doesn't grow on trees." They say, "I'm always broke." Each statement is a decree, each phrase a chain that binds them. The universe responds faithfully, "Your will is done." The hidden money code is written in language. To unlock it, one must change their words. Speak wealth, not want. Speak prosperity, not poverty. Speak flow, not famine. Affirmations are not empty chants. They are reprogramming the subconscious mind, which is the gateway to the infinite. When you say, "Money flows to me easily, freely, and abundantly," the conscious mind may resist at first, but repetition imprints it upon the subconscious. The subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to align circumstances accordingly. Doors open, opportunities appear, ideas arrive, all because the subconscious has received its instruction. The tongue is a rudder steering the ship of life. It may be small, but it determines the direction of the entire vessel. A ship turned slightly to the left will eventually land at a completely different shore. So too with words. A single shift from "I can't" to "I can," from "I lack" to "I have," from "I fear" to "I trust," will redirect the entire course of life. The shift may seem small, but over time it leads to a destiny unrecognizably greater. The power of words and thoughts is a sacred trust. You are the author of your reality, writing it line by line with every thought you hold, with every word you release. If you wish to change your life, begin by changing your speech. If you wish to transform your finances, begin by transforming your thoughts. Guard your words as you would guard treasure, for they are treasure. Guard your thoughts as you would guard gold, for they are more valuable than gold. Speak only what you desire to see. Think only what you wish to experience. And never forget, your words and thoughts are living codes, shaping the invisible into the visible, turning faith into fortune, and calling forth money from the unseen into your hands. The law of substitution is one of the most powerful secrets in existence, and yet it is so simple that most overlook it. It states that the human mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts at the same time. If one is dominant, the other must yield. Darkness cannot remain where light enters, and fear cannot dwell where faith is spoken. Every time a thought of doubt or lack rises, you hold the authority to replace it with one of faith and abundance. This is the law of substitution. It is the divine gift that allows you to transform your inner world and thereby transform your outer world. Most people live as slaves to their thoughts. A fear comes and they bow to it. A worry arises and they give it power, but you are not a servant to thought. You are the master. You are the gatekeeper of the mind, and the law of substitution is the key to your freedom. When fear whispers, you will fail. You can answer, success is mine by divine right. When doubt says, you will never have enough money, you can respond, I live in an abundant universe, and money flows to me in perfect ways. The fear will not linger when faith is spoken. The doubt cannot stand when truth is declared. Consider how easily one negative thought can spiral into many. A person worries about a bill, then about losing their job, then about their future, then about growing old in poverty. One seed multiplies into a whole forest of despair. But with the law of substitution, you cut down the forest before it grows. You catch the thought early and replace it with one rooted in truth. The moment worry about the bill arises, you say, my supply is endless and every need is already met. That single declaration is light breaking into darkness, and darkness cannot resist light. This is not denial of reality, it is alignment with higher reality. Reality says the bill is due, the money is not in hand, the need is pressing. But truth says supply is infinite, doors will open, provision will come. You do not deny the fact, you affirm the higher fact. You do not resist the appearance, you substitute it with faith in divine supply. And time after time, you will see the outer world bend to the inner conviction. The law of substitution applies not only to money, but to every aspect of life. Fear of sickness is replaced with affirmations of health. Thoughts of failure are substituted with visions of success. Despair is replaced with hope, weakness with strength, defeat with victory. The mind is a stage, and only one actor can perform at a time. If fear is on stage, faith waits behind the curtain. If faith is on stage, fear cannot speak. You decide who performs by what you choose to focus upon, what you choose to speak, what you choose to affirm. The words you speak out loud are weapons in this battle of substitution. When the voice of fear grows strong, it is not enough to silently resist. You must answer it with your own voice, with words of power. Speak boldly, and the negative thought will retreat. If your mind says, I will never succeed, declare aloud, I am destined for success, and nothing can stop me. If your mind says, money is hard to come by, affirm with strength, money flows to me easily and abundantly. This is not wishful thinking, it is commanding the law to obey you. The spoken word has authority, and the subconscious mind accepts it as truth. Every great person who has overcome lack, failure, or despair has used this law, whether they knew its name or not. They replaced every negative belief with a positive one. They refused to dwell on fear. They chose again and again to substitute doubt with faith. Over time, this became their habit, their second nature, and life reshaped itself around their new beliefs. Think of it this way, the mind is like a radio. At any given time, it is tuned to a certain frequency. Fear is one station, faith is another. Lack is one station, abundance is another. You cannot listen to both at once. The law of substitution is the dial that lets you change the station. You may have been tuned to fear your whole life, listening to its lies day after day. But with one conscious decision, you can turn the dial to faith. You can substitute one frequency for another, and in doing so, you tune your life to a new reality. Money responds directly to this law. People who constantly think, I never have enough, money is scarce, wealth is for others but not for me, are broadcasting lack and lack answers. But when they begin to substitute those beliefs with, I am worthy of wealth, I am a magnet for money, abundance is my birthright, the frequency shifts, the broadcast changes, and money answers the new call. Opportunities come, ideas flourish, doors open. The outer world cannot resist the inner substitution. This requires discipline, but it is a discipline worth mastering. Every time a negative thought enters, you must catch it and replace it. It may feel strange at first. It may feel false, as though you are lying to yourself. But remember, you are not lying. You are replacing appearances with truth. The lie is the fear, the lack, the despair. The truth is abundance, provision, victory. The more you practice substitution, the stronger your faith becomes until fear no longer dares to enter. There is a story of a man who had lost everything. His business failed, his family abandoned him, and he was left with nothing but debt and despair. Each day his mind whispered, "You are finished, you will never rise again." But one day he discovered the law of substitution. He began to declare each morning, I am prosperous, I am wealthy, divine supply flows to me in perfect ways. Though his outer world showed no change, his inner world shifted. Day by day his faith grew stronger. Opportunities appeared. A new venture began. Within a few years he was wealthier than he had ever been before. The law had worked because he chose to replace despair with faith. This law is available to you now. Every time fear speaks, substitute it with faith. Every time lack appears, substitute it with abundance. Every time doubt rises, substitute it with confidence. Do not give power to the negative voice, for it has none unless you feed it. Instead, speak truth, think truth, affirm truth, until truth alone reigns in your mind. The law of substitution is your shield, your sword, your constant ally. When you master this law, life transforms. No longer are you a victim of thoughts that come uninvited. No longer are you trapped in cycles of fear. You become the master of your mind, the ruler of your destiny, the commander of your fortune. Substitute fear with faith, lack with abundance, despair with hope, and you will discover that the hidden money code is not hidden at all. It is simply the law of substitution, practiced until prosperity become. Desire is not the enemy. Desire is not greed. Desire is the compass of the soul pointing you toward your divine inheritance. It is the signal, the password, the inner whisper that tells you, asterisk, this is what belongs to you. Asterisk, the hidden code within desire is one of the greatest mysteries of life, and yet it is so often misunderstood. People are taught to distrust their desires, to silence their longings, to believe that to want more is somehow selfish. But desire is the language of the divine. It is not a voice of lack, but a voice of guidance, showing you what is already prepared for you in the unseen. Every true desire you hold is a prophecy of what is to come. The dream of abundance in your heart is not an illusion. It is a preview of your destiny. The longing to prosper, to be free from financial struggle, to live in plenty is not vanity. It is the universe saying, asterisk, this is already yours. Claim it with faith. Asterisk, the tragedy is that most people dismiss their desires as impossible, or they smother them with fear. They say, I could never afford that, or that's too much for someone like me, or life will never allow me such freedom. And by doing so, they reject the very blueprint of abundance that was meant to lead them to wealth. The hidden money code is written in your desires. That deep yearning to have more, to live better, to express freely is not something you invented. It was placed there as a signpost. Just as the seed of a tree contains the vision of the full tree within it, so your desire contains the vision of your fulfilled life. The seed does not question if it has the right to grow. It does not wonder if the soil will support it. It simply grows because growth is its nature. So too should you allow your desires to grow, without guilt, without fear, without apology. Desire is the key that awakens action. Without desire, there is no movement, no expansion, no creation. Desire stirs the imagination, and imagination is the workshop of creation. When you imagine yourself living in abundance, enjoying wealth, giving generously, blessing others, you are not indulging in fantasy. You are aligning with truth. The image you see inwardly is the life you are meant to live outwardly. That is why the law of attraction responds so quickly to strong, clear desire. It recognizes the fire of your intention and rearranges circumstances to match it. But there is a difference between holy desire and restless craving. Restless craving comes from fear. It says, I must have this or I will be nothing. Holy desire comes from faith. It says, this is mine already, for it belongs to me by divine right. Restless craving is anxious, desperate, always chasing. Holy desire is calm, confident, patient, knowing that what is desired is already on its way. One repels, the other attracts. The hidden code is activated not by desperation but by faith-filled desire. Many people confuse contentment with suppression of desire. They think being content means never wanting more, never dreaming bigger, never expanding. But true contentment is not denial. It is resting in the knowledge that what you desire is already yours in the unseen, and that it will appear at the right time. Contentment is peace in the process, not the death of desire. Desire continues to lead you upward, higher, into greater expressions of abundance. Contentment keeps you joyful while the desire is being fulfilled. Together, they create the perfect balance of expectancy and peace. If you have a desire for wealth, do not suppress it. Do not tell yourself it is wrong or foolish. Instead, recognize it as the hidden code calling you to abundance. The divine does not plant desires that cannot be fulfilled. Every true longing is matched by supply. The desire for money is not a signal of lack. It is evidence that supply is already prepared. The moment you desire, the answer is given. The moment you ask, the provision begins. Desire is simply your awareness of what is already waiting for you. Think of how many desires you have already seen fulfilled. Once you longed for things you now take for granted: a home, a meal, a friendship, a job. At the time, they seemed out of reach, but eventually they arrived. Why? Because desire is a magnet. It pulls into your orbit the very things you imagine, and the greater your faith, the stronger your magnet becomes. Do not be afraid of desiring more money. Money is not evil, and the desire for it does not make you greedy. Greed is fear in disguise, a desperate clinging. Desire is faith in disguise, a bold reaching. When you desire money to live freely, to bless others, to fulfill your purpose, you are in harmony with divine law. Money is a servant of spirit, and desire is the key that calls it forth. The hidden code within desire also contains direction. Pay attention to the desires that will not leave you, the ones that return again and again, the ones that burn even when ignored. Those desires are clues to your destiny. They are not random. They are messages. The desire to prosper in a certain field, to create a certain business, to serve in a certain way, is the path by which money will flow to you. Desire reveals where your treasure is, and where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The law of substitution ties closely with desire. When fear tries to poison your desire by saying, "It is impossible, it will never happen," you substitute that thought with faith. "If I desire it, it is already mine." When doubt whispers, "You are dreaming too big," you answer, "Nothing is too big for the divine supply." Each substitution strengthens the code, engraves it deeper, until desire becomes conviction, and conviction becomes reality. Do not let others shame your desire. The world may say, "Be realistic," but realism is often another word for fear. The world may say, "You want too much," but too much for them may be just enough for you. The world may laugh at your dreams, but the dream is not theirs. It is yours. The hidden code was written in your heart, not theirs. Trust your desire, nurture it, protect it, and it will lead you to abundance. The hidden money code within desire is this: what you desire with faith is already yours. Desire is not a plea for something outside of you. It is a reminder of what is within your reach. It is the spark that lights the fire of creation, the password that unlocks the vaults of heaven. When you embrace your desires without guilt, without fear, without apology, you activate the law, and money begins to flow toward you. Desire is the code, faith is the key, and abundance is the inevitable result. Resistance is the great thief of abundance. It is the invisible wall that blocks the flow of money, the hidden barrier that keeps opportunities, blessings, and wealth from reaching you. The law of non-resistance is one of the most powerful keys to unlock the hidden money code, and yet it is one of the most misunderstood. For what you resist, you give power to. What you fight, you make stronger. What you push against, you magnetize right back into your life. When you resist poverty, you attract more lack. When you resist debt, you invite more debt. When you resist limitation, you give it strength. But when you stop resisting, when you relax, when you surrender, when you trust, you step into the flow of abundance that is always moving toward you. The river of supply does not need you to paddle against the current. It simply needs you to let go of the rocks, to stop fighting the flow, and to allow it to carry you forward. Think of it this way: money is energy. Energy flows where it is welcomed, but it avoids tension, struggle, and resistance. If your hands are clenched tight with fear, they cannot be open to receive. If your mind is crowded with anxiety, it cannot be receptive to inspiration. Non-resistance is the art of letting go, of standing still inside, and allowing life to bring you its treasures without interference. It does not mean passivity, it means confidence. It means you no longer waste your power fighting the shadows of fear, but instead you focus on the light of truth. So many people waste their lives in resistance. They resist the bills by hating them, rather than blessing them and trusting supply. They resist money itself by judging it as evil, greedy, or corrupt, while secretly longing for more of it. They resist wealth in others, feeling envy or resentment, rather than celebrating it as proof that abundance is possible. They resist opportunities because they fear failure, and by resisting, they block themselves. What you push away in judgment, you push away in reality, but what you accept in peace, you allow to enter your life. Non-resistance does not mean you accept poverty or injustice as permanent. It means you do not fight them with fear or anger, for fear and anger only multiply what you hate. Non-resistance means you rise higher. You choose to focus not on the lack, but on the supply. You choose to affirm not the problem, but the solution. You choose to bless where others curse, and in that blessing, you open the gates for your own abundance. Consider this: when you stand in front of a locked door and push with all your strength, the door does not move. You exhaust yourself, but nothing changes. Yet when you step back, relax, and turn the key, the door swings open effortlessly. That is the law of non-resistance. Resistance is pushing. Non-resistance is using the key. The key is faith. The key is trust. The key is knowing that the door was never meant to keep you out, but to guide you to the right approach. When bills arrive, do not resist them with dread. Bless them and say, "Divine supply is meeting every need. This bill is proof of services already received, and the money to pay it is already on its way." When opportunities appear, do not resist them with fear. Say, "If this door opens, it is mine by divine right, and I walk through it in confidence." When setbacks happen, do not resist them with despair. Say, "This is a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Something greater is on its way." Non-resistance is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is the lion lying down peacefully, not because it has lost its power, but because it knows it is master of its domain. Non-resistance is a refusal to be shaken, a calm certainty that wealth is your birthright and nothing can take it from you. The world may rage, storms may rise, delays may come, but the one who practices non-resistance remains steady, like a ship guided by an unseen hand. There is a hidden money code written within this law. The less you resist, the more money flows to you. Wealth comes easily to the one who is calm, confident, and relaxed because their energy is magnetic. Struggle repels, ease attracts, worry tightens the channels of supply, peace opens them wide. The moment you let go of fighting and begin flowing, you align yourself with the rhythm of abundance. Remember, even money itself resists those who resist it. If you chase it with desperation, it runs. If you fear it, it hides. But if you welcome it, if you honor it, if you release your tension around it, it comes gladly. Money is like a guest. It prefers to enter where it feels wanted, where there is gratitude, respect, and joy. Non-resistance creates that atmosphere. Do not resist change. Change is the pathway of supply. If one source dries up, it is only to redirect you to a greater one. If one door closes, it is only to lead you to a better door. If one chapter ends, it is because a more abundant chapter is beginning. The universe cannot bring you greater good if you are clinging desperately to the old. Non-resistance is the willingness to say, yes, I release what was and I welcome what is to come. Think of the trees in the storm. The rigid tree that resists the wind breaks. The flexible tree bends, flows, and survives. In the same way, when life's winds blow, bend with them. Do not resist, flow, and you will rise again stronger than before. The law of non-resistance is the law of survival, of strength, of prosperity. Every time you release resistance, you release energy, and that energy becomes power, power that attracts wealth, opportunities, and miracles. You stop exhausting yourself in struggle, and you begin directing that power into creation. You stop fighting against, and you start moving toward. That is the hidden shift that changes everything. The hidden money code says, when you stop resisting, you start receiving. Let go of fear, let go of doubt, let go of struggle, and abundance will flow to you as naturally as water flows downhill. Wealth is not won through resistance. It is received through surrender. Relax, trust, bless, and watch. Gratitude is the golden magnet that draws money, opportunities, and blessings into your life. It is not merely polite words or a momentary thank you. It is a spiritual vibration, a magnetic frequency, a hidden code that unlocks the flow of wealth. When you live in gratitude, you live in harmony with divine supply. You affirm, I already have, and therefore more is on its way. Gratitude transforms the atmosphere around you, dissolves obstacles, and multiplies whatever you possess. Most people treat gratitude as an afterthought. They say, I will be thankful when I have more money, when I get the promotion, when my debts are gone. But that is not how the law works. Gratitude is not the result. It is the cause. The moment you begin to give thanks for what you already have, however little it seems, you create a shift in your energy. You stop broadcasting lack and begin to radiate abundance, and what you radiate, you attract. The grateful soul cannot remain poor, for gratitude itself is the signal that wealth responds to. Think of a farmer. He does not wait until after the harvest to be grateful. He is grateful when he plants, grateful when the rain falls, grateful when the sun shines. His gratitude is an expectation, a knowing that the harvest will surely come. So too must you cultivate gratitude before your abundance is visible. Be thankful for every coin, every bill, every opportunity, every blessing, as though it were the seed of a mighty harvest. The more gratitude you give, the richer your harvest will be. Gratitude also transforms how you see money. When you bless money instead of cursing it, when you thank money instead of fearing it, you invite it to multiply. Too many people speak ill of money. Money is hard to get. Money slips through my fingers. Money never stays with me. And then they wonder why money runs from them. Imagine being insulted again and again. Would you stay in that place? Of course not. Neither does money. But when you bless it, thank it, treat it as a friend, it lingers, it multiplies, it calls more of its kind. Even in times of lack, gratitude is your weapon. When the purse is thin, bless it. When the wallet seems empty, thank it for what it has carried and affirm that it is being refilled even now. Say, I give thanks that money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I give thanks that my supply is endless, my prosperity unstoppable. Gratitude in the face of lack is faith in action, and faith always produces results. Lack dissolves in the light of thanksgiving, just as darkness disappears when the sun rises. Gratitude also reprograms your inner world. It shifts your thoughts from worry to peace, from doubt to certainty, from fear to joy. You cannot complain and be grateful at the same time. You cannot dwell in fear and thanksgiving simultaneously. Gratitude drives out every negative thought because it is rooted in abundance. A grateful heart knows that supply is secure, that wealth is flowing, that life is generous. And when you live in that vibration, you cannot help but magnetize more of the same. The hidden money code within gratitude is multiplication. Whatever you bless increases. Whatever you thank expands. If you thank money, more money comes. If you bless opportunities, more doors open. If you celebrate the little you have, soon you will celebrate much. Gratitude is not passive. It is an active force, a spiritual current that attracts wealth. When you begin and end your day in thanksgiving, you place yourself in alignment with divine abundance, and life cannot help but pour blessings upon you. Think of water flowing through a pipe. Gratitude keeps the pipe clean, open, and free of blockage. Complaint, fear, and resentment clog the pipe and stop the flow. Many people unknowingly block their abundance by dwelling in dissatisfaction. They say, "I don't have enough, life is unfair, nothing ever works out for me." And with every word, they tighten the pipe until nothing can flow. Gratitude is the unclogging force. The moment you give thanks, the pipe is cleared, and the current of abundance flows freely again. Even science now acknowledges what ancient wisdom has always known. Gratitude changes your brain, your body, your energy. It raises your vibration, reduces stress, strengthens faith, and opens your eyes to opportunities you would have otherwise missed. A grateful person sees doors where others see walls. They notice resources, helpers, and connections that others overlook. Gratitude sharpens your vision until abundance becomes visible everywhere. If you desire to unlock money, begin with gratitude. Be thankful for what you have, no matter how small. Thank every dollar that comes to you. Thank every bill you are able to pay. Thank every opportunity, every idea, every gift, every act of kindness. Write it down, speak it aloud, feel it deeply. Gratitude is not lip service. It must be felt in the heart. When your heart swells with thanksgiving, you activate the hidden code that multiplies wealth. Gratitude is also contagious. A grateful spirit radiates joy, and joy attracts people. Opportunities, partnerships, and generosity all flow more easily to a person who is thankful. No one wants to invest in, give to, or partner with a spirit of complaint. But everyone is drawn to the radiant energy of someone who overflows with gratitude. Gratitude makes you magnetic, not only to money, but to people. And people are often the carriers of your wealth. Do not wait until conditions are perfect to be grateful. Be grateful now. Gratitude is the proof of faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for. To give thanks in advance is to say, "I know it is already mine." A gratitude is both seed and harvest, cause and effect, beginning and completion. When you thank life for wealth, you hasten its arrival. When you thank life for opportunities, you increase them. Gratitude is the divine password that unlocks every vault of supply. The hidden money code is simple. Gratitude attracts, multiplies, and secures wealth. A thankful heart is a wealthy heart. A thankful tongue is a magnet for money. The more you give thanks, the more you will be given to thank for. Gratitude is not just a practice. It is a law. Live it, breathe it, speak it, and you will discover that abundance has been waiting at your door all along, waiting for the moment you said, "thank you." Intuition is the quiet voice of wealth, the inner compass that never fails, the whisper of divine intelligence guiding you to your abundance. It is not loud, it does not argue, it does not shout, but it speaks with authority, and when you listen, doors open that logic could never find. Intuition is the hidden money code written into your spirit, the secret pathway that leads you to opportunities, ideas, and resources that are invisible to the ordinary eye. Those who master the art of listening to their intuition never remain in poverty, for they are guided step by step into prosperity. Too many people rely only on intellect, on reason, on what they can see with their physical eyes. They say, I must have a plan, I must calculate, I must know every detail. But reason is limited. Intellect can only work with what it already knows. Intuition, however, reaches into the infinite. It sees the connections, the possibilities, the shortcuts that logic overlooks. It is the bridge between the unseen supply and the seen world of form. To ignore intuition is to shut the door on miracles. To follow it is to walk the golden path of abundance. Intuition often comes as a nudge, a sudden thought, a feeling in the heart, a knowing that cannot be explained. It might tell you to make a phone call, to walk into a certain place, to say yes to an opportunity that seems too small, or to turn down one that looks glittering but is not right for you. It might urge you to invest in yourself, to change direction, to step out in faith when everything around you says no. And when you obey, you discover that the universe was aligning the pieces long before you even took the step. Wealth does not always come through straight, predictable lines. Money often arrives through the unexpected, through the detour, through the moment that logic could not predict. That is why intuition is so vital. It leads you to the coincidences, the divine appointments, the doors you could never have opened by yourself. When you honor intuition, you walk in flow, and in flow, money chases you instead of you chasing it. But intuition requires trust. Many ignore it because it seems too simple, too illogical. They feel the nudge and then they dismiss it. Oh, that's just my imagination. That can't be right. And so they silence the very voice that would have led them to wealth. Intuition is delicate. If you continually ignore it, it grows quiet. But if you honor it, act on it, test it, it grows louder, clearer, and more reliable. Every step you take in faith strengthens the channel until intuition becomes a trusted companion that never misleads you. Intuition is also personal. What works for one may not work for another, because intuition guides each according to their unique path. Your wealth may not come through the same avenue as someone else's, and that is why copying others blindly often leads to frustration. Their code is not your code. Your intuition knows your door, your opportunity, your hidden treasure. Trusting it is trusting the divine plan written specifically for you. Intuition often speaks in stillness. In the rush, in the noise, in the endless chatter of worry, its voice is drowned out. That is why it is essential to cultivate silence, to withdraw from the world long enough to listen inwardly. Many people chase money frantically, exhausting themselves, while the quiet answer lies waiting within. The secret deal, the inspired idea, the creative solution. It is already in your spirit, but you must be still enough to hear it. Gratitude and intuition are also linked. When you live in thanksgiving, you keep your heart soft, open, receptive. A complaining heart is too noisy to hear intuition. A fearful mind is too clouded to recognize its signal. But gratitude clears the channel, sharpens the signal, tunes you in to the frequency of abundance. The more grateful you are, the more clearly you hear the guidance toward greater wealth. And here is the hidden money code. Intuition never leads you toward loss. It may lead you through challenges, through risks, through moments that stretch you, but it always leads you to increase. If you lose by following what you thought was intuition, look closer. Was it truly intuition, or was it fear disguised as impulse? True intuition is never anxious, never rushed, never desperate. It is calm, clear, steady. It may not make sense to the mind, but it carries peace to the heart. That peace is the seal of truth. Countless fortunes have been made by those who listen to a hunch, a whisper, a sudden idea that others ignored. Inventions, businesses, partnerships, discoveries, all have been born from intuition, and the same source of wisdom that guided them is within you. You are not left without guidance. The path to your money, your prosperity, your expansion is already marked by your inner compass. When you follow it, you cannot miss your wealth. So train yourself to listen. When you feel the nudge, act on it. When you sense the whisper, honor it. When you receive the idea, write it down and move. Do not wait for perfect certainty. Intuition requires faith in the unseen, and faith is always rewarded. The hidden money code is this: your wealth is waiting for you, and intuition is the map that will lead you there. You are never lost, you are never without guidance. The divine voice within you is your unfailing counselor, your wealth advisor, your personal guide into abundance. Trust it, follow it, obey it, and you will walk straight into the prosperity that was prepared for you all along. Money is like blood in the body. It must circulate, it must flow, it must move, or it becomes stagnant. The principle of circulation and giving is one of the most powerful hidden money codes, for it teaches that wealth is not a static pile to be hoarded, but a living stream that grows stronger as it flows. When you give, you are not losing, you are multiplying. When you release, you are not diminished, you are expanded. Giving is the proof of faith, and circulation is the rhythm of abundance. Too many people choke their money with fear. They hold it tightly, afraid it will run away. They say, I cannot give now, I must wait until I have more. But this fear strangles the flow. Imagine trying to breathe by holding your breath. You cannot. Life is exchange, and so is wealth. To receive, you must give. To inhale, you must exhale. To hoard is to suffocate the very abundance you long for. The universe responds to circulation. When you give, you signal that you trust the source of supply. You say, I am not afraid of loss, for supply is infinite. What I release returns multiplied. That faith activates the law, and wealth comes rushing back in ways you could never predict. The farmer does not hoard his seed in fear. He casts it into the soil, knowing it will return as harvest. So too must you cast your money in faith, through generosity, kindness, investment, and giving, and watch as it multiplies beyond what you released. Giving also heals the heart from fear of lack. When you give while it seems you have little, you are telling your subconscious, I am not poor, I am rich, I have more than enough to share. This belief creates wealth consciousness, and wealth consciousness is the true magnet of money. Poverty consciousness says, I must hold tight or I will lose. Wealth consciousness says, I give freely, for I live in endless supply. The attitude you carry determines the experience you create. But giving is not only about money. You can give time, love, encouragement, service, attention, knowledge, prayer. Every act of true giving returns multiplied, for the law of circulation cannot fail. What you send out must return. Send out fear, and fear returns. Send out lack, and lack returns. But send out generosity, and generosity flows back to you in ways beyond your imagining. The key to giving is joy. Do not give with resentment, for that is not true circulation. It is debt. Do not give with fear, for that is sacrifice. Give with joy, with gratitude, with expectancy. Say, this money I give blesses the receiver and blesses me. It is not gone, it is multiplied. It flows into greater channels and returns to me pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When giving becomes joy, it becomes the golden key to wealth. The principle of circulation also teaches us to receive with grace. Some people find it easier to give than to receive, but both are necessary. If you give but refuse to receive, you block the flow just as surely as hoarding does. Receiving is an act of humility and faith. It is saying, yes, I accept the abundance life wants to give me. Refusing to receive is pride, and pride blocks the stream. Open your hands both to give and to receive, and the current of wealth will never run dry. Consider the ocean. Waves come in and waves go out. The tide flows and then it returns. If the ocean only received but never released, it would flood. If it only gave but never received, it would be emptied. Its beauty lies in circulation. So it is with money. It must come and go, flow and return. This rhythm is sacred, and when you live in harmony with it, you live in abundance. The hidden money code of circulation is multiplication. The more you give, the more flows back to you. The more freely you circulate, the more freely money finds its way into your life. It may not always return through the same channel. What you give to one person may come back through another. What you invest in one season may return in another form. But the law is certain. Nothing given in faith is ever lost. Do not despise small acts of giving. Even a coin given in love can open a flood of supply. Even a kind word spoken sincerely can create opportunities you never expected. The smallest gift, when given in joy, carries divine power. It is not the size of the gift, but the spirit of the giver that activates the code. Give as though you are already rich, and you will become rich. The flow of circulation also protects you from fear of loss. When one door closes, another opens. When one stream ends, another begins. Money circulates. If it leaves your hand, it is already making its way back through another channel. Nothing is ever truly lost in circulation, for life is a circle, not a line. The tide may recede, but it always returns. This principle also frees you from jealousy and comparison. You do not need to envy another's wealth, for their prosperity is not your loss. Their circulation is not your depletion. The source is infinite, and there is enough for all. When you bless the wealth of others, you align yourself with circulation, and blessing flows back to you. When you resent the wealth of others, you block your own. So give joyfully, give confidently, give knowing that you cannot outgive the universe. Circulate your money, your gifts, your talents, and you will never be empty. For the hidden money code is this: wealth flows to the open hand, not the clenched fist. The more you let it flow, the more it will grow, and the more it will return to you in ever-increasing measure. Faith without action is like a seed kept in a drawer. It carries infinite potential, but it will never grow until it is planted. The hidden money code of faith is not only in believing, but in moving, acting, stepping into the unseen as though it were already visible. Faith is the power that ignites the law of supply, but action is the spark that lights the fire. You can pray, you can affirm, you can declare abundance, but until you act in alignment with your belief, you have not yet unlocked the full power of faith. Many people misunderstand faith. They think it is only a feeling of confidence, a quiet trust, or a hopeful wish. But true faith is bold. True faith is daring. True faith is movement in the direction of the promise, even when the evidence is not yet visible. When you act as though your wealth is certain, the universe aligns circumstances, people, and opportunities to match your movement. Without action, faith is incomplete. Without faith, action is powerless. Together, they form the unstoppable current that carries you into prosperity. Imagine a person who says, "I believe I will prosper," but spends their days complaining, doubting, and refusing opportunities. Their actions cancel their words. They are like a farmer declaring faith in the harvest, but refusing to plant seed. But another person, with the same small resources, acts boldly. They invest, they learn, they speak abundance, they circulate money, they prepare as though wealth were already theirs. This second person activates the law, for their faith is proven by action. Action does not always mean giant leaps. Sometimes it is a simple step, a phone call, a conversation, a decision, a movement toward the dream. Each step you take says, "I believe in my wealth, I trust in my supply," and each step unlocks the next. The staircase of abundance does not appear all at once. It reveals itself as you climb. If you wait for the whole plan before moving, you will wait forever. Faith acts on the light it has, and the next light appears only after the first step is taken. Doubt paralyzes, but faith energizes. When you move in faith, strength rises within you, doors open before you, helpers appear beside you. The very act of moving proves to life that you are serious, and life responds in kind. Faithful action magnetizes resources because it creates momentum. Money loves movement, and action is movement. Fear waits, faith acts. Fear calculates endlessly, faith moves boldly, and the universe always rewards boldness rooted in trust. Action also transforms the believer. When you move, you shift your identity. You are no longer the one hoping for wealth. You become the one living as wealthy. You carry yourself differently, speak differently, expect differently. This inner shift is the true foundation of prosperity, for you cannot attract what you do not yet embody. Faith in action is embodiment. It is living the reality before it has materialized. But let us be clear, faith in action is not reckless gambling or blind risk. It is not leaping without guidance or wasting resources in desperation. Faith in action is aligned with intuition, guided by wisdom, rooted in peace. It may look risky to the world, but it carries an inner assurance. You may not know how it will unfold, but you know it will. That quiet knowing is the difference between foolishness and faith. When you put faith into action, you also silence fear. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the louder it grows. But when you act, even imperfectly, fear loses its grip. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. And each time you act, your faith grows stronger until fear no longer has power over you. Faith in action also creates expectation. When you take a step, you look for results. You watch for doors to open, for money to flow, for ideas to manifest. Your expectancy is magnetic. It pulls the answer into your path. Expectation is a form of prayer, and action is the amen that seals it. Together they form a vibration so strong that money cannot resist it. The hidden money code is this: faith that does not act is only hope, but faith with action is power. Say your affirmations, but also prepare the bank account. Declare your prosperity, but also make the investment. Speak your abundance, but also walk through the door that opens. Move as though you already possess wealth, and soon you will. History is filled with those who turned faith into fortune, not by sitting still, but by moving boldly. They did not wait for perfect conditions, for certainty, for guarantees. They acted in faith, and their faith created the very conditions they needed. The same law works for you. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for your movement. You are not waiting for supply. Supply is waiting for your step of faith. So act, move, plant, speak, invest. Circulate, knock on doors, try again, step forward in faith, and watch as the hidden money code unlocks before your eyes. For when faith takes action, wealth cannot help but flow. Alignment is the crown of all the hidden money codes, the secret that ties them all together. To be aligned with divine supply is to live in harmony with the infinite source of wealth. To tune your thoughts, words, and actions to the frequency of abundance, and to walk in step with the law of prosperity that governs all things. When you are aligned, you do not chase money. Money chases you. You do not beg for opportunities. Opportunities magnetize to your presence. You do not strive in anxious toil. You flow in peace, power, and provision. Alignment begins in the mind. Your thoughts are the steering wheel of your life. And if they are out of harmony with abundance, you cannot move into wealth no matter how hard you try. A mind that constantly thinks lack will create lack. A mind that imagines fear will reproduce fear. But a mind that meditates on abundance, that visualizes plenty, that speaks prosperity as though it were already here, that mind is aligned with divine supply, and supply cannot resist it. Alignment means disciplining your thoughts until they match the reality you wish to live in. But alignment is not only mental, it is emotional. How many people speak affirmations but still carry worry in their hearts? They say, "I am rich," while their chest tightens with fear of the next bill. That is misalignment. You cannot attract what you fear. You cannot pull in what you resent. Alignment requires not only speaking abundance but feeling it, resting in peace, rejoicing in expectation, walking with calm confidence. The emotion of abundance is joy, gratitude, peace. When you live in those vibrations, you are tuned to the frequency of wealth, and wealth responds. Alignment is also physical. You cannot say you believe in abundance and live in chaos. Your environment reflects your alignment. If your home is cluttered with fear, if your workspace is neglected, if your habits are careless, you are not signaling readiness for wealth. Wealth loves order. Prosperity flows into prepared vessels. When you align your physical life, your health, your habits, your home, you open wide the channels for abundance to flow. Clean the space, order the finances, walk with confidence, dress with expectancy. These are not vanity, they are alignment. They declare, I am ready for the wealth I believe in. Spiritual alignment is the foundation of it all. When you align with the divine source, you stop looking to limited channels. You do not panic when one door closes because you know supply is infinite. You do not worship money because you know it is only a tool of spirit. You do not bow to fear because you know your source is unshakable. Spiritual alignment means trusting the invisible more than the visible, leaning on faith more than on sight, and placing your confidence not in circumstances but in the eternal law of abundance. The hidden money code of alignment is resonance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates in harmony with another of the same pitch, your life vibrates in harmony with the energy you carry. If you are aligned with fear, fear multiplies. If you are aligned with lack, lack expands. But if you are aligned with abundance, abundance rushes toward you with unstoppable force. Life is always mirroring your inner state. To change the outer, you must align the inner. Many people fail because they are divided. They say one thing, feel another, and do yet another. They say, I believe in abundance, but they feel doubt and act in fear. That misalignment cancels their prosperity. But when thought, feeling, and action unite in harmony with supply, nothing can stop wealth from manifesting. Alignment is power in agreement, the mind, the heart, and the hand all moving in the same direction. Alignment also means timing. There is a rhythm to life, a divine order, and when you are aligned, you sense the timing of action. You do not rush in panic, nor do you delay in fear. You move in flow, guided by intuition, carried by grace. And because your timing is aligned, your results are multiplied. The right step at the right moment produces more than 100 frantic efforts at the wrong time. Alignment is not only about what you do, but when and how you do it. To align with divine supply is to release resistance. It is to stop fighting the current, stop clinging to control, stop doubting the process. Resistance is misalignment, but surrender is harmony. When you surrender to the flow of abundance, you discover that wealth has been trying to reach you all along. You were only blocking it with fear, doubt, and struggle. Alignment removes the blockages, clears the channel, and lets the current of prosperity rush through unhindered. The beauty of alignment is that it creates ease. Wealth comes without strain, opportunities appear without struggle, money flows without obsession. This does not mean there is no work, no effort, no discipline, but it means the work is joyful, the effort fruitful, the discipline rewarding. Misalignment makes work exhausting. Alignment makes it energizing. When you are aligned, even small actions produce great results because they are supposed.